My dad slept with my wife and got her pregnant. I had a crap show birthday with a few close friends yesterday at my own house. At the end of the party, after everyone left, my dad told me that he needed to confess something that was killing him inside. I said, sure. He first started off saying that he did a lot of wrong to me and my wife. He hoped that I could forgive him. I was confused as to what he was talking about. I asked what he did that he needed my forgiveness. He said to me that when I was on a business trip, he invited my wife. My wife and my dad got together one day and they ended up doing the thing that led to my wife carrying his baby. I just responded, what the? Is this a joke? He told me that he was being serious and not lying to me. I still couldn't believe what I was hearing. I don't know what would be worse, to hear this from your wife or to hear this from your dad. Either, not really great options. He kept going on saying that the baby didn't survive and I couldn't bear to hear it. So I just said, stop the BS, and I told him to leave the house. I physically pushed him out of my house and I went directly to my bedroom. My wife wasn't at my birthday party at all as she was hanging out with her girls. Okay. We were planning to go out for a date night later, but it's not going to happen. My wife doesn't know that my dad confessed to me about their affair. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know how I'm gonna look at my wife and ask if this was true or not. After some time, I went downstairs again to check the front door and my dad was still waiting in his car. He was just staring at his steering wheel, crying. I really wanted him to go away, wanted to say something, but couldn't because I didn't trust myself not to do something cruel. My wife still hasn't come home yet and I'm writing this. Thanks, POS Dad, for giving me the best gift ever. I needed it. You are the best dad ever. #1 dad award goes to definitely not him. We got an update that came 2 days later. After I wrote this, I went outside and didn't spend the night in my home. The day after in the morning, I drove back to my house. I saw my dad's car and I was like, why the F is he here? I entered my house and heard loud noises coming from the living room. What kind of noises? My heart sank deeply into the ground. My mind went to them screwing each other. I caught my dad and wife together. She was crying very loudly and my dad was saying things like, it's gonna be okay, take deep breaths, I am at fault, you didn't do anything wrong. When I saw them like that in the living room, I stared at them with the expression of, what the F is going on? Y'all screwing again? My wife says it's not what I think it is, and my dad adds that they weren't doing anything. They have been trying to get a hold of me to see what's up. What's up? Oh, I don't know. I just found out like probably the worst information you possibly could have told me. I asked my wife why out of all the people she had to call my dad instead of one of her girlfriends that she was hanging out with on my birthday. And she said that it's because she wanted to get over this quickly and that her girls had nothing to do with this. I asked my dad why he had to come here to comfort her instead of sending someone else to check on her. He said the same and said that he knew I would come here eventually and that he wanted to sort this out with all of us being present together. How thoughtful. I said to both of them, you guys could have called me. To be fair, they sent messages, but I didn't have the balls to face them yet, so I didn't reply to them. I also said that they are painting the wrong picture and that this isn't the way to go about this. My coolness left my body. I got pissed again. I just threw my ring on the floor and I walked away to the door. My wife's cries intensified and she told me to listen. I ignored her. My dad started following me and told me to stay while I turned around to him to tell him to not dare follow me. I stormed off to my car. I screamed my lungs out and my neighbor noticed this. So she approached me to see if everything was okay. I said nothing is okay and that I need someone to talk to. We went to her house and I told everything to her. She was angry at them for me and was ready to burn their lives with me. She suggested that I find a therapist and a lawyer and advise me to escape them for a better life and never look back. I spent the rest of the day at her house coming up with a plan on how to confront them together. Here and there, I looked outside if my dad's car was still there. At some point in the day, he left. I spent yesterday night at my neighbor's place. Not even once did my dad or wife come and knock on the door. So did they see that you were at the neighbor's house then, I'm assuming? They don't care about me at all to check on me, yet they give an F to each other to immediately be together while disregarding the pain and the devastation that they caused me to go through for no reason other than their selfish, evil desires. I wish my dad was the one there for me, lessening my pain. I wish my wife was the one holding me tightly to her heart, but they don't give an F about me. Instead, they are there for each other, screwing each other emotionally. They literally forgot my existence. At this point, I was 100% sure that my POS dad was telling the truth after seeing them together like that. Despite having a horrible family, I am grateful that I have good neighbors who are willing to go to war for me and stand up for me in my worst time, and that I once realized how much of a blessing this is to me. I am a little more hopeful that I will be able to overcome this and that this also shall pass. Currently, I'm staying at my neighbor's place, and this week we are going to confront them. I will let you guys know how that goes. Hope for the best. Expect the worst. I don't know if your neighbors should be confronting anybody though. Like, do they need to be involved? I don't think they need to be involved to that degree. But hey, that's just me. Update number 2 came 5 days later. I went to my female neighbor's house. An hour later or so, my wife kept calling me. She called me 3 times, but I ignored her. On the 4th call, my neighbor told me to pick the phone up, so I answered her. She stopped crying, but she was still so distressed from her voice. She asked how I was doing, and she really wanted me to come back. But I said I couldn't, so she asked if we could talk over the phone. I said yes, and then she said that she indeed was together with my dad when I was on the business trip. She said that one day he invited her over, so she went over to his place. At the time, my wife was unemployed and looking for jobs. She was already stressed from not having any income and was lonely because of me being away from home frequently for long periods. And my dad lost his wife at the time, which made him lonely too. My grandfather had his own business and gave it to my dad in his last years. He passed away also. During that time, my dad was running the business. He thought that he would make a deal with my wife. The deal was that my dad will give my wife a position at his business in exchange for sex to fulfill his widow's fire. That's how everything happened. I really was speechless when she told me these things. I didn't know how to react, but I thanked her for telling me her side of the story and said I will come back to her later. I hung up. We recorded the whole telephone call. My neighbor said that I should send a message to my dad confirming my wife's side of the story. That's what I did, and I asked my dad if the things that my wife said were true. He said yes! I took a screenshot of our text exchange. Now that the truth has come out, I feel better, but it has raised more questions, like why sleep with my dad just to get a job? Why sleep with my wife instead of an escort to get rid of your loneliness? None of their reasons excuse their evil act of betrayal and infidelity towards me. Yeah, truly. I don't really care what the reason is. It happened. Nothing justifies it. Once my dad confirmed everything, my neighbor and I went to my house and I told my dad to come over. We had the talk, finally. They said that this happened on a weekend and they spent the whole weekend together, constantly having sex without any protection. And it's just on that weekend, just that one weekend. Like that makes it any better. After that, they never had an intimate connection. I asked my wife if she slept with anyone else and she said no. Regarding our kids, I requested my dad to order 3 DNA tests for each of us to confirm any suspected paternity. I didn't realize you had children. Oh boy. My kids don't have to take DNA tests because they already did. Oh, okay. Okay. I panicked for a second. My kids don't have to take a DNA test because they already did the ancestry test to learn more about our genealogy a few years ago. Did I say that right? Probably not. We didn't, but now that we are in this situation, we are going to do it too. However, my wife was annoyed that I was requesting a DNA test. Okay, well, surely you can understand that. She got so disappointed and told me that I don't trust her.
I wonder why, pervert.
That's laughable. And that I insinuated that those children aren't mine. When my wife told me to not request a DNA test, my neighbor said, "You have to do the DNA test, and of course, he doesn't trust you anymore, and if you have nothing to hide, why are you so against the DNA test?" My wife responded, "Don't poke your nose into this. This is between me and my husband, and your husband's father, your father-in-law. Let's not forget." My neighbor said to my wife, "Unlike you, I don't poke my nose into other men's, let alone my father-in-law's." My wife couldn't say anything to that. She reluctantly agreed to take the DNA test. My dad ordered the tests in front of all of us. My dad once again told me how remorseful he was. He kept apologizing over and over again. My wife did the same. They started crying again, and I got pissed again. I told them that you guys are pieces of shite, and I never expected this from both of you. I told my dad that he could have just slept with any other woman out there, but selfishly decided to sleep with my wife, also his daughter-in-law. I also told my wife that she's so cheap that she literally sold her body for sex just to get a job in my dad's business at the expense of destroying our family. I asked her if my dad, job, and our family was worth it. She couldn't give me an answer. She was guilty, and she told me that she should have been more patient in getting a job that she liked, but then she confessed to me that she voluntarily left his business because of the guilt of what she did in order to get the job. I asked my dad why he confessed now and asked my wife why she kept this a secret. My dad told me that he just wanted to clear his conscience of this heavy guilt and that he was having a hard time living his life with this big of a vile secret. My wife told me that she didn't want to ruin our relationship and that she feared she would lose me. I said to my wife that had she told me immediately at the time, then our relationship could have been saved. But after a lifetime of our entire marriage built on lies, she brought this upon herself, and that her fear is now coming true. As for my dad, I told them that he is such a POS and that he will always carry this guilt because now he's going to live with the guilt of breaking our family for the rest of his life. I told them both that at the end, they are losers and they will never, ever get our family back. I told them that it was so clear how they were dying to be in each other's pants and finally they could have each other. My neighbor said to them, "You guys deserve each other and F yourselves to rot in hell. You guys are the worst monsters that I've ever seen." If you have read one of my comments, you know my wife sent my dad an email saying, "It's all over." I told them both loudly and clearly that it wasn't over at the time, but it is all over now. At this point, my dad couldn't bear to look at me anymore, so he just left our house and my wife had a full-blown breakdown. She was hitting herself, curling on the floor, screaming while I just looked at her with contempt and disdain. I quietly said to myself that she deserved all of this, and this is only the beginning of her pain and the destruction she caused. I just looked at her. Once her breakdown was over, I just asked her to leave, but she begged me to stay, which I said she can't stay and that she has to leave for a few days. After an hour of begging, she just said F it, and she left. I don't know where she went, but I am happy and I feel relieved. I don't know where she is. I don't want to think about her nor my dad anymore. In the midst of this ugly confrontation, my neighbor recorded everything. After my wife left, my neighbor sent me the recording and said how proud she was of me for standing up for myself and keeping my coolness and that I deserve every happiness in the world and that I am now free to get the life I always deserved away from these pieces of shite. Is there something going on with this neighbor though? Like, she's awfully involved in this. Is this a friend? I don't know. I need more details here. We hugged and I cried again. I am so happy that I have the best neighbor in the world and I wish that my wife was like her. Ooh. instead of being a monster. So the confrontation happened and we are now waiting for our DNA test kits. We will do the test and send it off. We'll wait a couple of weeks for the results to come and let's see what we're gonna come across. I hope a bag of a whole other lie isn't opened, but you never know. Gotta be prepared for the worst. Now, the question is, are those kids mine, my father's, or someone else's? That's a question I never want to ask myself. That's for damn sure. You know what time it is. Choo-choo! We are hopping on hydration station. Buckle up and drink your water. Uh-oh, cheers. Look at me with my plain old cup. We never see this, not too often. All right, we have our final update. We gave our DNA samples. My neighbor lady came to me with sweet baked cookies and offered to go to a concert with me. That night, my wife got jealous and had an argument with me, accusing me of cheating with that invasive parasite, AKA neighbor lady. At the end of the argument, she said that I am blind and I don't know anything and that my father and I both suck, but that I'm more of an a-hole than him. Why don't you just go sleep with him again then? Oh my God, can you imagine? That's how immature I am. We are still cold roommates and our kids are out of the house, unaware of anything that's going on. My wife isn't telling me the whole truth. She's hiding stuff from me. I want to leave and start all over. Hey, nothing much happened for a few days. I stayed at home alone while my wife stayed at who knows where. Then she came back. We are staying in the same house and sleeping in 2 different rooms. We're just roommates. The DNA tests got delivered and on that day, I invited my dad over. All of us gave our samples and sent them back again. My wife is very disappointed in me for not trusting her and insinuating that she got pregnant by cheating on me, which is ironic as she did get pregnant with my dad's baby / my sibling through infidelity, yet she feels attacked by it. My neighbor has been texting me here and there to check in on me. On one fateful day, she came and knocked on my door. She brought sweet baked cookies, which was so kind of her. She offered to go to a concert with me that she really wanted to go to. I said, I'll think about it. Later that night, I was in my room and my wife came. She was very annoyed with me and said, must be so nice being head over heels for your lady. I asked what she meant and she literally accused me of cheating just because I am leaning on my neighbor for support. She said that our interactions make her very uncomfortable and she thinks that my neighbor is an invasive parasite that has latched onto me and won't let go. I said that you are misunderstood of the whole situation. It's not like we're dating or worse, screwing each other. My wife said she's pretty sure that we got intimate when I went to my neighbor's place. I said, I'm telling you the truth. I have nothing to hide, but think whatever you want. I don't care. She said, of course you don't care, because had you cared, you wouldn't run to the closest woman to you next door. You wouldn't have thrown your ring on the floor. You would have stayed here to have a freaking normal conversation with me without making this more of a big deal than it is. In what universe is sleeping with your father-in-law normal and not a big deal? I'm concerned for those who don't find that a big deal. I said that I had to leave our house for my own sanity, and when I left, our neighbor was the one who approached me. I didn't run to her. She said, even if she approached you, couldn't you have just said no to her ulterior advances? Don't you have a friend or someone else in the family to run to? I responded, why are you so sensitive and making a big deal out of this? She didn't do anything wrong to you. If anyone is in the wrong, it's you, because you were the one who screwed my dad and carried my sibling, right? My wife started bursting into tears and said, you still are blind to everything. You see what you want to see and believe what you want to believe. You don't know a damn thing, do you? I asked, what's more to know? You are not being totally honest with me, are you? I looked at her, waiting for her to say whatever it was that she was hiding from me, but she kept staring back at me with disgust, as if she wanted to rip me apart and throw me into the garbage can. The only thing she said is that my father and I both suck, and I am more of an a-hole than he is. I said fine. She then left the room, yelling and crying, and smacked her door when closing it. The next day, we were still very cold to each other. The tension in the air is so real that it's going to burn us alive. It already burned me. I am so burnt out. I just want to leave everything behind and not deal with any of this. Why can't I just say F it and leave? F me. My children are the only ones who aren't in this chaotic mess yet. They are out of the house. We didn't say anything to them, and I want to keep it this way. And that is where we are at this moment in the story. We're gonna have to wait, apparently, for the DNA test results. Let me know your thoughts on this. I mean, do you think it's not a big deal? If so, we need to chat. We need to have a talk, okay? I'll see you guys in the comment section. Stay classy out there. Stay sassy. Bye.